I've been hearing a lot about Ubisoft's video game adaptations, and I'd like to talk about why only one of them was really good and the other mainstream movie was a flop. The movies I'll be talking about is the Assassin's Creed 2016 movie, Assassin's Creed Lineage, and Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. These are a few of the video game adaptations that I know about from Ubisoft, the most notable ones. The Assassin's Creed 2016 movie is just titled Assassin's Creed, which was their first mistake because there is no unique title. It falls flat in reference to the first game. The Assassin's Creed 2016 was a flop because it was not about the assassins that made the franchise popular. They made a movie about an unknown assassin that nobody cared about. They should have made the movie about either Altair or Ezio because those are the two people that the fans knew and loved. It would have been better if they made the movie about the Ezio trilogy, seeing as Altair only got one game. The fans liked Ezio because his character. They liked the witty nature and feisty humor of Ezio, with him becoming the mascot of Assassin's Creed and a measuring tool of whether an Assassin's Creed protagonist is good or not, with many people hating future protagonists like Desmond Miles and Connor Kenway for not being more like Ezio. This could be the same case for the Assassin's Creed 2016 movie because I discovered that the main modern day protagonist of the Assassin's Creed 2016 movie is also related to the Assassin's Creed Unity protagonist Arnold Dorian, who actually makes an appearance in the movie during one of the final scenes, who over time garnered a cult-like following despite the fact that it was the game that ruined the franchise, and after all the memes and backlash they had to reboot the franchise because of how bad the game was. The one thing I don't understand is why the heck didn't they just make the Assassin's Creed movie about Assassin's Creed Unity? Assassin's Creed Unity was made in 2014 and the Assassin's Creed movie came out in 2016, which was 2 years later. They made the worst decision to make the movie about some unknown assassin with an unknown story. The movie falls flat because there are no notable characters in the movie. They could have capitalized on the opportunity to make a proper Assassin's Creed movie. If they could have made a really good Assassin's Creed Unity movie, then it could have brought more attention to Unity after how badly it performed. Cyberpunk had a very similar situation, but the difference is they made an anime called Cyberpunk Edge Runners. After the flop and backlash of how bad the game was when it was released, it's no secret about how big the failure was, but the anime helped make the game popular and got some new fans after all the patches and bug fixes. Now people like the game. The Assassin's Creed 2016 movie is not a bad movie by any means. It's just not a very good Assassin's Creed adaptation. It's an original idea, which means that it was made from scratch with the Assassin's Creed lore in mind. It would have been way better as a video game than a movie. I commend their ambition, but this is not what the fans and the community asked for. It was eviscerated by critics and fans of the Assassin's Creed franchise, from the lack of direction and bad pacing in the movie to the Matrix-like animus that really looked out of place in the movie. They really messed up a golden opportunity to expand on a long-standing and beloved franchise. The truth is, the one true Assassin's Creed adaptation comes in the form of a short indie type film called Assassin's Creed Lineage, which is based on Ezio's father back when he was still an active assassin carrying out assassinations, and it takes place when Ezio is just a boy. So maybe it took place a few years before the events of Assassin's Creed 2, and I must admit that it's very accurate to the games, even though there was no game based on Ezio's father. The casting and characters look very accurate to the video games, looking like a mirror image of the characters in the video game. You see Ezio's father and his whole family, including a lot of the characters from Assassin's Creed 2. It hits so hard with nostalgia. I rewatched the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time movie, and I must admit that it has aged like wine. The visuals are amazing and the soundtrack is pure chef kiss. Just listen to this. Back in the day, you knew that you had a blockbuster on your hands if the soundtrack sounded like this. The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time movie was made back when Disney was still the great blockbuster movie maker, a shadow of its former self now. This was the period of time when they were making the legendary Pirates of the Caribbean movies. You can really see some of the sweet Pirates of the Caribbean energy in this movie. The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time movie takes everything good from the franchise and puts it into the movie. They took the character from Prince of Persia: Warrior area within and used the story from Prince of Persia Sands of Time to keep the movie grounded. This really worked in their favor because they had a really cool character and a fantastic story. The one aspect I like most about the Prince of Persia Sands of Time movie is that it gives you more angles of the video games and it adds more dimensions and perspectives. What I mean by this is, in the Prince of Persia video games, you never get to see the life the princes live. You are just some random prince jumping from one platform to another for no real given reason. The difference is, in the movie you get to see people living normal lives like real people. There is a proper story to tell, which is what all the Prince of Persia games have always lacked. A really good story driven narrative, and the movie more than makes up for this in a big way. It adds life to the franchise that once didn't have very much of it. You see a character, people, cities, big wide open spaces, a whole empire filled with people and places that you never get to see in the Prince of Persia games. The Prince of Persia Sands of Time movie is something that I would have always wished the Prince of Persia games did. Add a more human aspect to the game. Give the prince character, a home, family and a life. The problem with Prince of Persia is that it's never had that much of a story to tell. They made the same mistake over and over again. The movie really complements the franchise and it well represents the culture it portrays, with there being real world locations even in the movie, including the Hashashin, which is a reference to the assassins in Assassin's Creed, a bunch of elite warriors with advanced equipment and weaponry, which is ironically what Assassin's Creed was supposed to be based back on when it was in its early stages, as said by Patrice Deslay, one of the creators of Prince of Persia Sands of Time. I loved Prince of Persia Sands of Time, the movie. I would urge people to go watch it. The writing, acting and casting is fantastic. The soundtrack is amazing. They chose Jake Gyllenhaal to play the prince and he did an outstanding job. He looks just like the Prince of Persia. This is a great movie. I wish more of Ubisoft's adaptations would be as good as this. I would love to see more of Ubisoft's video games come to life, but we will have to see what happens. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.